Maganda that want to introduce himself. So please, Maganda, can you please introduce yourself and share with us what you do in this special event that we have today, 5 steps to achieve a successful networking event in Africa. Today we're going to be discussing the 5 steps you need to take in order to create a successful networking event in Africa to take your business to the next level. And for that, we have one of the most expert person in Africa that actually organize again and again events, even online and offline. So can you please introduce yourself, Maganda?
Thank you very much, Sardinia Harris. I'm very happy to be on your show today, and I'm very happy to be talking about African business. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Maganda Evans Tabingwa. I am the CEO of Tanya Innovations. I am also the new head of Business Live Global Africa. And I'm very happy to come to this show tonight, morning, for those who are in morning seasons, because I know we have listeners right from the United States of America, but above all, to the viewers in the whole continent of Africa. Thank you very much, Sardinia, to bring me to this show.
Excellent, Maganda. And let's talk about this successful launch that you had done just recently about Business Live Global. I was part of that event, and it was an amazing event. I think that in Africa you have the particular way to do things. I think that have to do with the weather. Here in UK today is 1 degree, it's really cold, but over there you have the warm. I like a lot the musician that was playing at the event with this colorful music, Africa, and as well as the well-known relevant politicians and business owners and entrepreneurs that you brought to that event. It was a world-class networking event. So I want to congratulate you. And I want to ask you, in these times, what do you think that was the biggest challenge to put a successful event like that?
In an African environment, we want to know that it has a plus of very beautiful environment, very beautiful weather. We all have green lush all throughout the season, and it's a very beautiful place. Business-wise, we still have quite a number of challenges, and I'm happy that you're saying this was a great event, and it's for that reason that you're hosting me all the way from the United Kingdom to speak about what we were able to do well on that event. But the whole motivation for this event mainly came from the humiliation Africa suffered during the COVID season. And all the time, as young people, we've always been looking at the government, asking the presidents what they are doing, putting the politicians to task. Everything, everybody in every corner is actually talking about what government is not doing. And we've realized that if we don't change our mindset to start asking what every individual is doing, then we are bound to be doomed as Africa. And I'm happy that out of those inspirations, we are talking about a very successful event that happened at Sheraton Hotel, Kampala, that brought businesses around the world to be able to attend that event, political class, the honorable ministers who attended, the head of private sector foundation, plus so many other partners that were able to grace our event. So, of course, the challenges, as you said, like in Africa, we still have a big challenge in terms of the business environment. We majorly have small-scale businesses, businesses that are very informal. So for you to bring them into such a formal network, of course, it's a challenge. But that's now where we're coming from. Like we're going to see among the 5 steps of organizing a successful network, one of them is that you must be able to carry out what we call BEI, Business Environment Intelligence. Understand where you are so that you can put a strategy for where you want to go. Otherwise, it's not always about your vision. Your vision, you might have a vision of what you want to do as an individual. But remember that that vision is not just about the internal, it's about the external environment that surrounds you and how you can be able to put all those small, minute visions of different businesses to move forward.
Yes.
So thank you, Sadilia, once more. Yeah.
And before, thank you so much for the people joining the broadcast from Bangladesh. So one of the audience said, I'm a fan, Sir Harry Sadinas from Bangladesh, and I follow him. Well, we follow you also. Thank you so much for joining us. And if you have a question for me or Maganda, please write in the chat, and we will be able to address for the people that are watching in Facebook, 250,000 audience, and the more than 2,500 followers that we have in YouTube. Thank you so much. We're doing all these broadcasts for you guys. Now, Maganda, before we go to the steps, and you already you already planned the first step, we're gonna speak about more about what are the 5 steps to achieve a successful networking event in Africa. I just want to congratulate you because something magical happened in your event that I think that even we can use that in UK, and you 100% right here in the UK. So everyone is putting the government in the corner. No, the government is doing this, the government is doing that. But why? What we are doing as an entrepreneur, and I saw you at the event, the launch of business Life Global, an amazing point of view where you were addressing the audience, sharing with the entrepreneurs, encourage them. It's us who need to go and knock at the door of government and propose solutions through them. At the end of the day, it's us, the entrepreneurs, who create the job. It's us, the entrepreneurs, who have the innovating ideas, and we have to work together, because the government could be sitting there and they really want to help, but if they don't have the entrepreneurs that come with solutions, with ideas, with projects, then it's gonna be difficult. So we have to work together. And I love how you were having an open conversation with the entrepreneurs, saying the government is ready to listen to us, but it's us, we need to knock the door to them with projects, with solutions, so we can thrive together. I want to congratulate for that. Also say hello to Victoria and James, Victoria, the founder of Business Life Global, and James, the chairman of this organization that had made this possible along with Maganda to make this amazing meeting. So Maganda, do you want to expand a little bit more before we go into the 5 steps to achieve a successful networking event in Africa? I know that everyone is waiting to learn from you how to do it, and this is another thing that we need to do, Maganda, is to inspire people to start to do the events again, to start to network again. So like that, we can, all the nations, we can start to rise up again. We have been hit very bad because of this pandemic all over the world, but it's time now that we wake up, that business start again, that we start to network again, and we start to move forward, right? So can you expand a little bit more in what message you're giving to entrepreneurs, not only from Uganda, from all Africa, to knock on the doors of the government with solutions? So like this, there is no right than criticize the government that you don't do X, Y, and Z, why we don't work together, and why we don't propose solutions from them, so we can move forward.
Okay, Harry, I want to, I don't know if I should call it an analogy, which I'm going to use to explain what I'm going to say. I'm currently a student of PhD with Walden University.
Wow.
And one of my professors in that university was trying to teach us how to think. And when he was starting that class, he was trying to show us how the world has become complex until the normal human intelligence cannot be able to conceive it. You cannot conceive the world as an individual and be able to handle it effectively. But this is what he says, that the way you see is the reason you don't see. Interesting, right?
Yeah.
That if you have created your mind to see things in a certain way, it closes all the other faculties of the mind to stop seeing things the other way.
Yeah, I
Okay?
understand.
And COVID has just given us that test that all along we have been imagining that we're in charge. We have been imagining that all the systems developments were put in place. We are managing the universe. But COVID has just disproved us. Okay? And therefore, it has changed where we have been focusing our mind. It means that we now have to change the mindset to be able to match the new emerging needs in the world, including ethical issues.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'll be very open with you that, especially for the least developed countries, we know that the issue of the vaccine at one point, especially in Africa, we had to wait for a very long time before we could even get a single dose of the vaccine. Yeah, but we've been talking about the global village, we are all together, we are all one, which actually means that we can't blame anybody actually because it was a time of survival. But it actually means that at a time of survival, everybody fights for himself. Yeah?
Exactly.
But then it means that as people in the least developed countries, we need to change our narrative. We need to change the way we are thinking. Yeah? If we don't change the way we are thinking, learn new ways of doing things, then we are bound to get swallowed. Okay? And therefore, this involves businesses. Instead of blaming the government and asking it simple questions, we are actually saying that it's time the business community asks itself the hard questions. It's like pills, they are bitter. And that's where the answers are. So we cannot have the conversation of saying who is not doing well because he's in a government office. But we should be able to look at the contribution each one of us makes. And if each one of us makes that small contribution, for example, Uganda has about a population of 45 million people. If I can make every single Ugandan, for example, to be able to make that contribution, then I will have made 45 million people make a very high-scaled effect. Africa by 2017 had a population of about 1.3 billion people. You can imagine what 1.3 billion entrepreneurs will do. If we focused to know what the challenges in the continent are, and each one of us looked at what small contribution he will make, in return, that will make a very big impact. And that's why you see, we now say it's about us coming together, thinking together, and trying to ensure that we can be able to solve these problems. In the tribe, in the culture where I come from, we have it's called the Basoga tribe. And they have a slogan called Nsete. Nsete are usually those safari ants. Yeah. So one of the things the safari ants do, they are very small insects. But one of the things we can borrow as human beings as we listen to this program today, these small insects do not even have a tenth of the brain the human being has. But these small insects get together, they build themselves and build the cohesion. They use the multiple distributed intelligence in the small head of each ant, and they are able to build a mountain.
Wow.
And they are so intelligent that if they're building an anthill in a very cold place, they know how to narrow the airspace to make sure that they can't get cold. So the anthill that is built maybe in the United Kingdom is different from the one it builds in a hot area. Now, the question between me and you and the listeners, if these small insects can create such an empire of building an anthill, what is the problem with 7 billion people in the world? And that's why I told you that there are questions about ethics that we need to ask. Because I think we have been confronting ourselves talking about technological developments, but the issues of ethics are letting us down because it appears that even the leaders, it doesn't matter whether they are leaders in the highly developed, they are talking about climate change, they are talking about deforestation, they are talking about wars, but nobody knows how to tame the spirit man because we are completely going diverse. The values are completely personal, and we are not engaging and making sure that we can look at that inner man to build that cohesion. So it actually means, Sardinia, that if we as human beings can come together and bring our intelligence, the multiple intelligence, we can do amazing output. But right now, every human being is for himself. Every business is looking for individual survival and making as much profits, irrespective of whether they are actually going in the wrong direction. And these are some of the things that we need to refine, we need to reframe. That's why you see that the topic at our launch was reframing informal business organizations, to overcome the challenges or the turbulence that COVID has brought along. So the way to go is for us to converge together, start looking at these problems as a group. So as we make money, let us make money of value. Let us make sure that every individual can be able to appreciate that we are working for the common good of our countries. We are working for the common good of other people who cannot make it. We are not obsessed by making sure that we own the whole world, which certainly we are not going to own as individuals. So that is a brief of where we are going. And I want to thank you, Sardinia, plus the team from the United Kingdom, our chairman, James Castle. He's doing an amazing job back in Canada. Our founder of Business Life Global, Madame Victoria Bell, we can't thank her enough because this has come out of her vision and the African people, the African businesses that have done an amazing job. I thank you.
I agree 100%. 100%, and thank you so much, Weasley. Weasley says, follow, I am good fan of you, brother. I'm in Uganda. So there you go. I think that Weasley is sending you hello to you, Maganda. And then we have Nick Ronald join us from UK. Kamat, he said, awesome video. And then we have Kamat, which is said that is so amazing, the topic that we're talking today. Thanks so much. Thank you very much. Also, Ali, to like the video, Nick Ronald, and all of you in different parts of the world that they are connected and commenting. And while we move forward the interview, thank you so much for your participation. Thank you so much for your voice of encouragement. And I agree 100% with Maganda, right? We have to, at the end of the day, we all live in a world together, and we are all interconnected. And if we are able to stick together, I like the analogy that you did about the ants and how they join together and they create something amazing. And we believe that together we can create something amazing. But I believe that it's us, the entrepreneur, who has to take the leadership. Exactly what you were sharing at the event, the launch of Business Life Global. I think that entrepreneurs are the force that move society, and we have to by working together to develop creative ways. For example, to have centers over there in Uganda, in Africa, able to deploy and create your own vaccine. I'm originally from Cuba, right? Cuba has working very close to Africa for several since I'm a little, right? And Cuba, for example, they develop their own vaccine, right? So they already have the labs, the infrastructure, and they develop their own vaccine. So we have to put the technology in Africa. And it's a region that is rich. You guys are rich. You have resources. You have something that nobody else has, right? So we have to balance. You are so rich, and we have to balance that when we do business, when we do commerce, when we trade that wealth that you have, you put something in place, infrastructure that actually we can create good not only from Africa but for the rest of the world. So it's about working together, yes, and collectively create something amazing. And at the end of the day, there are countries like Nigeria now that the growth of development is really fast, right? So Africa is the moment of Africa now, and Nigeria is a good example that African nations are thriving. They are growing economically, so it's possible. All we need to do is to work together and collaborate, and the government also open the door to the entrepreneurs, because it's us, like with companies like yours, Tanya Innovation, right? Innovation, I love this word, right? Because this is what is sitting in the society, in business, right? Innovation, and the innovation can come from anywhere as long as you have the infrastructure. Before this talk, I was speaking with a friend of mine. He's the CEO of 200 supermarkets in Turkey, right? And we were talking about technology, and he was sharing with me. He's telling me, Harry, there are some fintech companies here in Turkey. There is one, the name is Get It, is worth 7.5 billion, and the guy just started not long ago, right? So why Turkish companies are making huge in fintech here in UK, for example? We have, UK is the second country that have the unicorns. Unicorn company in fintech mean that they're worth $1 billion, right? So the first country is US, second is United Kingdom. United Kingdom have produced more unicorns than the rest of Europe, right? So why some countries are making steps? And it doesn't matter about the economy, because look, Turkey, right? So it's about to bring the right partners with the right projects, with the right infrastructure, and with the support of the government, we can make this true. And wow. but from all that, I think that everything starts exactly like you did, Maganda, in this fantastic event that you just produced. And I know we're gonna have more of that in all Africa. I think that the networking event is the first cell that put together the entrepreneurs, the political government force, and also the public to start to roll what is the vision that we have to develop Africa, that we have to create a more sustainable world for everyone, right? Today, the way that we do business this time is not how we used to do business. Now, when we do a business, we need to make sure that it doesn't impact the environment, that is viable, that we create local jobs, that we so there are a lot of new innovative ways to do business today. Well, you can make profit, but also help the community, help the society, and increase the wealth of the country. So in that view, Maganda, so in your opinion, what would be the first step or the 5 step how to achieve a successful networking event in Africa? Let's say that now you have fellow entrepreneurs that they want to partner with you, and they want to take business like global along in the partnership with you in different countries of Africa, and you want them to give them your blueprint, how you did it, how amazing you did this launch. So what would be the first step or the 5 steps to achieve a successful networking event in Africa that you will be able to share with them, and why this first step is so important? Thank you so much, Bakir Nathar. He said that it's very informative what we're talking today. So in your view, Maganda, what would be the first step or the 5 steps to achieve a successful networking event in Africa?
Okay, Harry, just like any other business, you can't do much without having a clarity of your vision. Vision dictates steps. So, and if you don't have a vision, then every road leads you everywhere, and you don't get somewhere. So vision is very critical, because it helps to make checks onto what you want to do. It also it can tell you whether you are going wrong, because once you're not in line with the vision, then it means that whatever you're doing is actually off. Because before you collect everybody and bring them on board, you must have made a clear cut of what you want to do, what is your contribution, what world you want to see. And as you can see in my communication, something to do with ethics is coming out. So it means that you're looking at making sure that you have this entrepreneurial vehicle that is ethically upright. So I'm already aware that there is a big gap in terms of ethics. There is a big gap. People are the world is getting obsessed with individualism.
Yeah.
And we are killing the world without knowing. And it appears as if we have tricked ourselves to go until we fail, then we shall never be able to retrieve back, because that is what is happening, but nobody wants to accept that that is what is happening. Yeah. So sometimes you see everybody saying we are together, but inside the actions are saying I am fighting for myself. But when we come together, whether people are meeting in conferences, they are saying, oh, we are here in the global thing, but when everybody is actually doing their individual thing. And this is what is going to kill the world. So a vision is very important to make sure that it can guide what you are doing, and that is one critical thing. Okay? So,
and how, but how, Maganda, how you create that vision? Do you imagine yourself? Do you visualize? Do you write it on the paper? Do you, how you visualize that? How you create that vision for yourself? Which is, I get it that you want that vision that you just shared with us, that you really want people to work with themselves together. No, like people said, I working together, but at the end of the day, everybody go to try to work by themselves. So thank you so much, NBS 894 official channel. So we have nice discussion there. This is what Africa needs. Thank you so much. So we have a radio station join us and supporting the comment that said this is what.
That's from Uganda. Thank you
from
so
Uganda.
Much.
Oh, fantastic. So supporting,
great.
yes.
Thank you, NBS. Yes.
Yeah, NBS. Thank you so much for joining us. So then, Maganda, how you create the vision that actually you want the people right to go together, but really mean it? How you deploy that vision?
Now, sometimes it depends with what values are informing your decisions. For me as an individual, it will come from my faith values, because I'm a believer in God. It's a very critical part of me. And every other time, I've also been able to envision that as a human being, I'm not going to live here for the 1,000 years. Okay, so I'm already aware that I will not live for 1,000 years. And I know that I'm on this earth with a purpose. Yes, number one, to make sure that I can fight so hard to make sure that I can take care of myself, I can take care of my family. But number two, to be able to add value to this continent where I stay. Now, once I have those things set, then it means whatever I'm doing here, I'm conscious that I have limited time to be able to create that input and leave the continent a better place for other people. So everything I do is informing me where I'm going. So if you go to point number 2 after the vision, and I think this is an interesting one, maybe which will inform you, we have what we call a business environment intelligence.
Okay, that would be the step number 2, business environment intelligence. And what does it mean?
Now, what that means that for you, that today's world, we have a term in business what is called VUCA. Have you heard of VUCA? Volatile, uncertainty, ambiguous,
no,
and complex. VUCA, VUCA.
UCA.
The world today is very volatile. The business environment is very volatile. It is very uncertain. It is very complex. It is very ambiguous. So you as an individual business, you can not only do well by focusing on what your vision is, you can do well by being able to appreciate the business environment you're working in, because there are so many external factors Yeah, because the vision comes from within. It is what you feel. It is what you want to see your company be. But then the whole world is not about what you want it to be. It has to be how you can manage the external factors and how you can be able to utilize them for you to be able to appreciate that vision. So it means that whether you like it or not, you need to know who are these other business partners, what do they stand for in the environment, what is the government doing in terms of, like what are some of the policies that exist in place, yeah, so that you have a complete set of information that you need to help you take your vision to the next level. Because even if you have a good vision, but you are not able to appreciate the data set that surrounds where you are going to operate from, you are going to have hurdles of how you can be able to achieve. So that's why you see at this launch, I was not only having business people, because some people told me, no, but you see, this is an event for businesses. So why did we have to have the representative for the first deputy prime minister of Uganda to be present? Why did we have to bring the commissioner for external trade to be present? Why did we have to have the head of private sector foundation to be present? And my answer was very simple, that all these are critical persons that will propel the business forward. So in my business environment intelligence, I knew that yes, we all have powers as individual businesses, but we need the government on board. We need the private sector on board. We need to get people who have valuable information, because now the Commissioner External Trade, we shall be using him to gather data about the external markets, about the internal markets, about the current business environment in the country and in Africa. So we shall be establishing these cells in different countries in Africa to help the business people to be informed. Because we are aware that there are so many entrepreneurs, they have good ideas, either they have the money, but they are not in touch with the reality of the environment they are going to operate in. And that limits them to achieve what they are supposed to do, or it limits them to get the right partners that can help their vision to be achieved. And because I am coming from the NCT, you remember the NCT I told you in the beginning, the ants.
Yes.
Yeah? It's a slogan from my culture that NCT, Setura. So it means that if you have these insects coming and they can think beyond, then what can an entrepreneur who has money, has information, has the broad connection of these other persons be able to achieve? And I think this is where now we get so many entrepreneurs limited, because sometimes they're like, okay, it's my business. Yes, that is okay. It's my money. Yes, that is okay. But if you use these networks, you just can't imagine how much the multiplying effect that will come over to make the difference. And I think that's why you have talked about your colleague who owns supermarkets or who has come up with a chain and is telling you he's in billions in the UK after a short period of time. Do you know the mathematics and the similar mathematics that I'm telling people in Africa? That we have been talking about the agricultural economy, which is okay because that is our competitive advantage. We have very good arable land, that is okay. But now we are telling young people that agricultural land will help us to save the immediate problems of hunger. But if we are looking to compete on the global market, we need the policy analysts, we need people who can now engage into technology. Yes?
Exactly.
One company, okay, some of the leading companies in the US, yeah, you find that one company is almost 20 times the economy of the whole of Eastern Africa. You understand what I mean?
Wow.
But the mathematics is very simple. The mathematics is very simple because these people are serving millions of people every day. I was looking at, I don't know, I've forgotten the name of the phone company. One of the leading phone companies, the tech companies. I was checking how much it makes because I was just interested, because I told you now in my business intelligence, I was asking myself, why will some countries make exponential incomes as others are struggling? So you can see that in Africa, as you are putting the strategy on agriculture, which is not a bad thing because people are dying of hunger, people are making several steps in innovations of technology. Yeah. So one of the leading companies I found that is making about $1,826 per second.
Yeah.
$1,826 a second. How much money is that per minute? How much money is that per hour? How much money is that per week? So you can see that if you made entrepreneurs to appreciate the leaps companies are making by just using the advantages of internet and technology, it makes sure that maybe the person who was investing in agriculture will think twice and see, how do I now use this innovation to be able to make sure that I can join these giant economies? But also it means that our governments, the people who are in policies, they should be able to appreciate that, yes, as I am investing in agriculture, I need to ensure that we can put a lot of investments in technological innovations to help our countries be able to make viable competitions at the global market. So that just amongst some others will bring us to that point of business environment intelligence. Understand the environment so that you can go to the third step, which is strategy, to ensure that the strategy you put in place is informed by the environment where you are, and you can still be able to see what you can control to be able to make progress.
Yeah. So regarding the before, it was very interesting that we talked about the business environment intelligence, and so today, remember everyone, we are discussing the 5 steps to achieve a successful networking event in Africa with Maganda. And today we shared the step number 1, which is have a vision, right? The step number 2 is find this business environment intelligence, which we just covered. And regarding this business environment intelligence, I think that a point that you touched that is really, really important is technology, right? Today, I had a discussion last week with some entrepreneurs, and we were talking that is today you have a normal business and you put a piece of technology of it, then this become a tech company. When become a tech company, the valuation of tech company is way higher than a normal company. And how we put a piece of technology is exactly like what you were saying. We need to have the development. Do you know, for example, Maganda, like there is a shortage of software developers in the planet, in the whole world, that if we can put a building just to software developers there in Uganda, and the government can support that, and we can put the building and take 19 years old, 18 years old, 19 years old students just to go there and learn how to develop software and how to program. These people that we have a job for life because there is a huge shortage in the planet, and the demand is more and more for software developers, right? Because we are moving into a technology era. And for example, this that is a business environment intelligence is all about exactly what can we do collectively. But in order to do things collectively and efficiently, we have to incorporate technology of it. We have to put database. We have to bring the right people. We have to use technology in order to empower and to spin off what we actually doing in our organization. Speakers and leaders, if I share with you the things that we're doing, it would be amazing. People sign up for our events and the text message arrive to your phone straight away, and automatically we're reminding you what is the event and this and that, and then we have the data to send the right prospect, the right event, and things like that. So we do, our organization, we have software developers as part of the team full time, working with us, developing software. Because like I said, even if you have an event company, any company you have in the world, depend regardless the nature, you need technology as part of it. And then this business environment intelligence is a really, really good concept, because it creates the ecosystem where, and I agree with you, it doesn't matter if you put business owner only, it's not going to have the same impact and the same thrive if you sit in the same room, business owner and actually the entrepreneurs. Is exactly now I share with you, we're organizing in London on the 3rd of December an art exhibition in the High Commission in South Africa, here in London. And it's the same environment what we're creating. We're creating this business environment intelligence hub, where we're going to have an artist from South Africa. We will deploy, we will show all the paintings and the culture, but at the same time, it's going to come business owners, entrepreneurs, the press is going to be there, and also some mayors from different cities of London, several ambassadors. And so we're going to put in the same room the culture, which is something very important that we need to promote, not only from Africa, all over the world. The reason for that is very simple. This is our identity, and is that identity that make us creative, is that identity to make us who we are. So we do have to promote, and we do to raise awareness about that. But at the same time, in the same room, if we put the charity workers, it's gonna the charity. If we put the philanthropists, if you put the entrepreneurs, if you put the ambassadors, and if you put the artists in one room, we're creating this concept which I love. Yeah, I'm learning from you today. Business environment intelligence. Yeah. Yes.
Just on that concept before you go away, you see, I told you the importance of vision. Now you are talking something as if you already knew what we are trying to engage in. So it means the mind are meeting. I'm right here on the show. I'm sure that some of the colleagues that I have interacted with will be saying, maybe possibly they have talked about this before. But one of the directions we are looking as Business Life Global and Tanya Innovations, one of the visions is that we want to build a center, not just one building, one of the tallest skyscrapers in Kampala. That's already in the mind. And we want to have a one-stop center where we have innovations of such. You have maybe software developers, you have other people who are just strategizing. Yeah. And we want people who can be paid just to come and think and bring ideas. Because sometimes we are overcrowded with so many things until people cannot think correctly. Or sometimes I've realized in commercial businesses, the people who are supposed to strategize are only most of the time firefighting, because they don't have enough resources to discharge the duties. So actually it's a disservice. We think that, okay, we have corporate organizations, but I mean, the budgets that are in these corporates, the targets that are brought by sometimes the investors, cannot allow these people to think and take the organization to the next level. You understand?
Yeah,
so
definitely.
That you will get a general manager or a director who is trying to make sure that he's running an efficient system by making sure that he cuts the budgets as much as possible. But then you get the lower employee who are being forced to work. You understand? But also, even the managers know that with the type of budget they have, they cannot discharge those duties. So it means that innovation is killed somewhere there. So what we are looking at as Business Life Global, we already know that these are part of the things I was telling you. People say is not necessarily what they do. But when you look at what they do, it tells you actually what they need. So if we can't have a model where people have the freedom to innovate, they have sufficient resources for them to discharge that, and that can only come if you have been able to come together. So we look in future to have one of the best resource center that can allow people who can think, people who can innovate. We even look at having, like a theme park, a place, and all these, we're going to start by telling the young people, the African, the businesses to make those contributions. And it's about clarity of the vision. If we got maybe 1 million Africans and Sardinia got his 500 people, and then, like we have that network, we shall have this center in Africa. So instead of saying, oh, what can we help in Africa, we can actually be able to build a center that can help us to think for ourselves and be able to innovate by making sure that we create the right partnership.
Exactly. And then we have Joy Zimbabwe. It's a wonderful discussion, guys. Maganda is 100% correct. Ethics are very important. When we aspire and commit to work together, there should be no hidden agendas. 100% agree with you, Joe, on your comments. Thank you so much. And also thank you so much, Francis, to like the interview in Facebook. So at the same time, we have a very big engagement in Facebook. A lot of people are liking the interview and they're live in Facebook. So thank you so much, and hello to all of you in Facebook, as well as all of you that they are commenting and participating in YouTube, right? So Maganda, I think that something very important that you have shared with us today is the importance of the collective effort, right? Like, for example, even this building that you have the vision to create, right? This is exactly something that we are using in our accelerator, in our hub that we have in our organization, right? Because at the end of the day, there are people that come with ideas, right? But then we need to take this idea, and with the framework and infrastructure that we have, turn this idea into a viable proposition for the investor. And maybe people come with an idea, and the idea is great, but the step number one, we need to take this idea and make it in the viable proposition for the investor. Then we need to train that person to pitch that to the investors. Then the funding comes, and when the funding comes, the person that had the idea is not trained how to use the funds, how to employ the people, how to use marketing. So before they spend on that money, we support them and give them the infrastructure and the companies and the partnership that we know that they can move this company forward. So at the end of the day, a successful company is a collective effort of all parts involved, including government. And this is a great vision, Maganda, that you have for Africa, and is the same way that we see here in our organization and in UK in general. That's why UK is thriving with the tech company. Right now, I've been invited to support to be part of one big event here in UK. The name is a Sport Tech event. So we're gonna bring famous sport players, footballers, and it's gonna be a lot of people, also venture capitalists and fintech development, just specific for health, specific for sport, specific for human beings. So new technologies are coming, right? So it's about start to deploy, because I think that, like I said, you guys are richer than us. The real rich people are you guys over there, right? So you are the rich people here, and we just need to deploy and with the good ethics, use the resources efficiently and develop the country. So about the third step out of the 5 steps to achieve a successful networking event in Africa, you were talking about the strategy. So I think that the strategy that it was in your mind, Maganda, it was to put these people together. But how you did it? What is the steps that will involve that strategy? Because one thing is, okay, I have my strategy, but how you make this strategy actually happen? So can you share with us a bit more?
Yeah, so like we came from business intelligence, where we're looking at you
Exactly.
trying to carry out a survey, you are trying to appreciate the environment you're working in. You have things like stakeholder analysis, where you're trying to see the different parties you need to bring on board. Now, the strategy, of course, sometimes people want to bring the strategy at the top. But the reason, when you start the strategy at the top, and it's not yet informed with the type of environment you have, you might find having challenges. Because after you have collected this intelligence about maybe the nature of businesses, the nature of policies that are in place, you have at the intelligence level, you are also looking at the needs assessment of the companies, because every company that comes, by the way, is not in line with your vision. It's not actually your vision. They all have their own vision. So it means that you're also making an analysis of their different needs, yeah, and you're also doing what you call expectations mapping. Expectations mapping means that you talk to these people and you try to appreciate what their interests are. Every little person, every business person has interests. Before they talk to you, they don't even know what you're meant for. But now it's important for you to understand what are their expectations, what are their needs. And then in that process, the strategy level, you are trying to streamline to make sure that you put in a formula that allows all these people to move together with you. Okay? And then you also make sure that you do the expectations management. There are people who will come with so much higher expectations, and sometimes the better way to manage and go along with them is to make sure that you cut those expectations. Because if you don't manage those expectations very well, very soon, if you look at the group, I don't know if you have heard about the group stages, the group dynamic stages, where you have the cooking stages and the storming stage. So as they come in, you need also to know that there are people who are coming, there are those who are going to go, because it's scientific that people come with a lot of expectations. Once they don't get those expectations, they are going to storm out. Yeah. So it's incumbent upon you to manage and be realistic and let people know what you're doing. And for those who are comfortable to join onto your vision, they move along. That's now when you are supposed to make and build this teamwork to ensure that people should come in when they have expectations, but you need to let them know that those expectations, you are going to build it. It's not, don't think that you are going to come and find, you understand? There are people who always come and say, oh, you are now in DLG. Of course, it is certain that after this launch, I've now had, I think, about 3 interviews. Tomorrow morning, I'll be on a TV show. The other day in the evening, I'll be on another UK show, interviews of this thing. But I think that is after there's some visibility of what now we are doing. But the point I'm trying to say is that after the business expectations, the business environment intelligence and the strategy, there are 2 key things I want you to know. There is what they call enrollment, okay? There is enrollment, and then there is engagement. Enrolling means you bring people on board. But when you bring people on board, you engage them, because out of that interaction, you learn one another, yeah? You learn other things that you need to shed off. You learn certain things that you will bring on board. And also you need to learn that be receptive, like I've talked about the distributed intelligence of the Nsete from the Soga culture. That the Nsete, every person who comes has something to add on to that company. Focus on to those, bring them on board. But also be aware that these are human beings. They come with excess baggages. So you need also to learn how to manage, but in a calm manner. Yeah? If somebody comes and he's contradicting what you believe, you don't go out to throw, because you don't know what you are throwing. Because this is a system of refinement. So bring the people on board, take the positives they have, and learn how to manage the negatives that might be in place. Okay? So at the strategy, enroll the people, engage them. At the engagement, you are supposed to keep on trying to see the different things that you need to embrace from different persons in these networks, and also see things that you need to manage out. Because like I've told you that in any group dynamics, you have the forming, then you will have, you have the forming, then you have the norming, then definitely we have those who will go, we have those who will stay.
And thank you so much, Michael. We have Michael Okapa. He said, thank you, Mr. Maganda. Great idea. We are proud of you. Cavendish University in Uganda. Yay! Hello, thank you, Michael. So we have Michael, Joe, MBS.
Harry, you will allow me to, Cavendish University is a university actually where I've been working as their e-learning coordinator for a very long time.
Wow.
So I really want to appreciate Mr. Okopa is the academic registrar of Cavendish University. And from what we are talking, by being their e-learning coordinator, like in Uganda, schools have been closed for 2 years. Students have not been going to school. Yes, but Cavendish University, out of the e-learning strategy that I put in place, has actually resiliently been able to stay in school, and the students have gone into, have gone ahead with their studies uninterrupted. Mm-hmm. So we have students from the UK, we have students from Africa, we have students from all over the world. And these are some of the initiatives. So the initiatives we are talking about here are not just for talking, like I think I've told you. These are things we can put into action.
Already implemented.
Appropriate strategies will be able to do great work. So, Mr. Okopa, thank you so much for being on this show tonight.
Yeah, thank you very much and for supporting us. And then we have Len with American also saying us hello, right? So very good. And we have also technology for online learning. We have in our Speakers at Leeds University, and also an amazing technology for online. I think that online learning is here to stay, and even some events that we're creating right now, we're doing hybrid, right? So some events we have done, and we have broadcasted to 250,000 people, to 500,000 people reach from our own house in Facebook. So we have now, we can discuss, Maganda, what will be the step number 4. So we have step number 1, have a vision. Step number 2, create this business environment intelligence, where we can create this collective effort to make an amazing event, so people have an amazing experience and all the parts are involved. Step number 3 is the strategy. How we're going to deploy all this to make that happen. So what would be the 4th step for in this topic that we are discussing today? 5 steps to achieve a successful networking event in Africa. So what would be the step number 4?
The 4th step is now you execute.
Execute. Oh, okay. Very good.
You have put the strategy. You have been able to learn the people you are going to work with. You have carried out substantial intelligence because you now have sufficient intelligence to make the decisions. You have now engaged. You have enrolled. You have engaged these persons. They're on board. Now execute, because now you know who is going to do what and how, and you know what you have planned to do, where it will be able to take you. So at the point of execution, you have a map, you have a whole map of what you want to do. So once you do the execution, it will be able now to fulfill, because the expectations you already have, you already know even the expectations of the people that you are with. And at the point of execution, then everybody will come out and say, oh, this was very powerful. Oh, this, we've never seen something like that. But it's because you have now already been able to make sure that, okay, this is what we need to have in place, okay? And then finally, we have evaluation, because you should never do something, however much people say it has been very powerful. There is always something amiss, okay? So, so after the execution, you need to go back on the board. For example, now the BLG, we have an evaluation meeting on Monday, and it's for all the people we have invited them. What did not go
so
well?
What would be the step number 5? The step number 5, what is it?
Is evaluation.
Evaluation. Okay.
Yeah. So you are trying to get the input from other stakeholders. There are sometimes when people want only to hear good news. Yeah, and if you don't allow people to tell you the bad small things, then you will never be better. Yeah, and always we have new things. You might make an imagination that, oh, I've done this very wonderful, but there is one person who will tell you, oh, I wish this was involved. It's also a time to be clear about what you are doing, because it's a learning time for other parties. Because remember that here we are trying to build a team. Yeah. So you don't want to be the only person who is organizing nice events in Kampala or in Africa is Maganda. Yeah. If I'm looking to build disciples, like what I've told you, the faith where I come from. Yeah. We believe in building disciples. So it's also part of my responsibility to ensure that people understand what I am doing and they can be able to do better.
Exactly.
But do you know why it will not work? Do you know why it will not work in the current business environment?
Why?
Why? Because many people get scared that at that point other people are going to steal their. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So it still comes to the other selfish principle of sometimes saying, oh, now I think if I go, people are learning this. But you see, if you are not able to swim into that competition, you are going to remain in the same place. Sometimes that competition is necessary to take you to occupy your position.
To improve. We have a point. We have a point from NBS. For NBS 89.4, it says, as the world adapts to technology, the outside world should help Africa improve, since they also looking at making a good network. 100% agree with that, right? We have to put infrastructure together from the outside world to help Africa to develop in technology. And then he says that Evans' nice submission, if the policymaker fail, then ask the people should raise up to help your communities engage into the first technology. Exactly, 100%. And this is what we're discussing here. Thank you so much, MBS, and to follow the conversation, Michael, Joey, also. This is what we're discussing today, right? That the entrepreneurs should lead the conversation. I think that this is the main message that Maganda is putting in place here in Africa with the launch of the organization Business Like Global. At the same time, I think that, like you said, the real leader is the person that is able to enroll and to inspire others to become leaders. That's why we have this organization. Speakers are leaders. Your voice can transform the world. So we believe this is not an egocentric position. I want to be the best, and this is my organization. Our role as leader is to deploy, is to multiply things that they are working in order, like you said, to work collectively. So because collectively we can achieve more, right? So
correct.
And then I want to ask you another type of question, and this one was, as you as a motivational speaker, I saw you speak at the event, you speak fantastic. So my question to you is, do you ever experience fear of public speaking, or was something, or stage fright, or you always has been this charismatic speaker that's really powerful, that articulate very well the message? Can you share us your journey as a public speaker, how has been?
Ideally, I've been a youth leader in my country.
That's very good.
Right from the village level up to the national. I was a member of the National Youth Council of Uganda from the year 2001 to 2005.
So that means that from 2001, you're speaking on a stage in front of audiences, right?
Yes, because I was representing the youth. I was speaking on the National Youth Council. Currently,
were you scared? Were you scared when you were young to speak in front of the audience, or you said I have to do it no matter what, or you always had that confidence, that's leadership inside you, or how this happened in that moment? Now we see you very confident, we see you very powerful, we see you very strong from the camera, very secure of your message and what you represent. But how you achieve to get that confidence, that charisma that you have today, compared at the beginning when you started?
Nobody will tell you that he started by being a star. I'll give you a very short story to explain to you. There was one time, the boss of a host, the owner of a host, Actually, the horse dropped in a hole.
Wow.
A horse dropped in a hole. And then this person started fetching sand and dropping in the hole. Okay? He was trying to bury the horse because he thought that the horse will not come out because it accidentally dropped in the hole.
Yeah.
So he kept on getting sand and dropping in the hole. What this horse was doing, every time it will feel the sand on top, it will shake the sand and move a little bit higher. This person kept on, this one was on the mission of making sure that let me bury the horse because I will never be able to get it outside. But the horse, every time it was shaking the soil, when he was making the last, he saw the horse was keeping on coming at the top. At the end, as this man was filling the hole, the horse came up to the top and it actually managed to survive. Now, what am I saying? Many things we can always learn anything if we give the energy that we need to give. Even today, there's nobody who will say it's old to start again. But the challenges that come amidst us, they're just, so long as they don't kill us, they're actually there to make us become much more greater. So for me, public speaking, I was in guild races at the university where I went. I was part of the guild contests, being a youth leader. But I also think that my faith, my Christian faith, for example, I do a lot of Bible reading.
In public?
Yeah.
Wow.
I do. No. I do a lot of Bible reading.
Okay.
Yes. And what the Bible has done to me is the wisdom. Because you get knowledge, and I'm able to, once you have knowledge and you become empowered, then you get the wisdom of how to apply that knowledge. You understand what I mean?
Excellent,
so,
yeah.
I'm able to get the knowledge, I'm able to get the understanding, I'm able to get the wisdom to speak what needs to be spoken where. But those are things sometimes that are not very easy to differentiate. And I can actually thank God that He's been able to bless me with that. So
one more question.
Ideally that will, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And one more question. What do you prefer? Do you prefer to speak in front of the camera, or do you prefer to speak on the stage in front of a live audience? What is your favorite? What do you feel more confident?
Live audience, because when I'm interacting with people, because right now I'm speaking, I don't know how many people are on the platform. I don't, because like I've told you that in the enrollment and engagement, I could be able to know whether I have young people, and maybe I can share my personal experiences to be able to help them. Because I know there are very many young people going through things, they think that, oh, I'm dead. Sometimes you talk to people, there's somebody who was going to have suicide. He thinks the whole world is closed. We have been there, we have done it, and we're here today to speak our story. But that doesn't mean that we have been perfect as you see us. We have gone through storm. So sometimes when I speak and I'm speaking to young people, I want to motivate them because the war has not ended. So long as you have life, so long as you can breathe, then you are at it. In fact, I was watching such an interview yesterday where somebody asked, I think there was a gentleman, they were asking that if we gave you $1 million, how would you feel? Oh, the guy said, very powerful. And then the gentleman went ahead and said, what about if we give you 10 million? Says, wow, that is amazing. And then he asked the last question. If we gave you $100 million, but you are going to die the next day, what would be your opinion? He said, I would rather not have the money. What does it mean?
Yeah. Yeah. There
are things that are very powerful in our lives, but because they are free, you see, the life we have, which God has given us, is free. But once we have these free things, we disregard them and make them look like they are not very important. And yet the things we are chasing are not important than what we actually are. So sometimes we are looking for the answers from outside, but the most powerful ingredient and capital that we have is by being alive.
I agree 100%. So like I said, people, all these millionaires that I know, they will trade all the money for one more day of life, right? So definitely. So yes, I think that in order to create a successful networking event, not in Africa, just all over the world, charisma and a great leader is key, and just a dream and a vision like today you share with us, Maganda, in the 5 steps to achieve a successful networking event in Africa. So number 1, to recap for everyone that joined and later, number 1, you need to have a vision. You need to have a vision. What do you really want to do? What do you want to achieve? Why are you doing that? What are you creating this networking event? Are you creating because you want that maybe when it happens, the next pandemic is going to be there in Africa, the first country that's going to develop the vaccines? What do you really want to do for your country, for your legacy, for the continent, right? And what can we do collectively over there? So that was the step number 1, have the right vision. Step number 2 is a very concept that Maganda shared with us today that I also learned myself, business environment intelligence. So what that means is in the step number 2, you have to create this ecosystem in your event in order so people have the results that they are expecting, so we can have an exponential result out of the networking event. We will share some experiences like Maganda, for example, part of this business environment intelligence. He decided in the launch of Business Life Global to bring together not only entrepreneurs but key political figures that will help to spin off and to accelerate the position of the entrepreneurs that they are thriving the economy in Uganda. Also, a very powerful message to the entrepreneur, have access to knock the door of the government and present them solutions to the problems that they have. So step number 3 was a strategy, have the right strategy in order for you to deploy that networking event so it has the expected result that we are looking at. Step number 4 is execution, because if you don't execute, it doesn't matter how much your vision, how much you create your business environment intelligence, what is the strategy. If you don't execute, if you don't take action, nothing happens. And number 5 step is evaluation. So remember, every time that you do a networking event, you gather with the team and you can have an open discussion, what could be improved, what worked, what didn't work, what were the lessons, and how can we do it better. So in that note, these are the 5 secret steps, 5 steps to achieve a successful networking event in Africa by Maganda, an amazing charismatic speaker, podium speaking, motivational speaker. We should go, Lily and I, to Uganda to speak with the university students. We're more than happy to do that, to encourage them to open business. Lily and I will get invited to Mexico and to other universities across the world, and always the dean had this conversation with us. Like I say, Harry, we want that when students finish university, not only they go out to find a job, but also they need to know that the entrepreneurship door is open for them. So please give them talk about how to start a business, about how to grow the business. So this is something that we love to do, encouraging young people as well as support businesses, not only in Africa but across the world with our organization Speakers and Leaders. Thank you so much, Maganda, for your wonderful interview today, and thank you so much everyone from Africa that has been following us today. MBS, Michael Coppa, we have Joy, you have and the audience from Speakers and Leaders. We have Nick Ronald, one of our authors. We have Weasley, we have Kaman, we have Bakir. So a lot of people from Facebook and YouTube has actually enjoyed the interview. They are writing the comments and liking the interview. So what would be your last words, Maganda, for people that want to join your vision and create a new future for Africa, and create this new vision, this collective effort where you guys can not become rich, because you're already rich, I'm saying that, but actually bring wealth to Uganda, bring wealth to the African country, and develop business and technology that make us competitive in the marketplace today. As we know, it's possible. We have some countries in Africa that are growing economically a race that we have never seen before. So Africa is moving in the right direction. So what can we do? What will be your message to spin off this process, to accelerate this process, so we can have a rich and wealthy continent as you deserve, guys? What will be your last that, Maganda?
Thank you, Harry, for that question. Mine, I want to put to our global leaders in government, entrepreneurs with massive resources at their disposal, and individual people, because we don't want to always blame people who have worked hard to make their money. But I want to call upon them to be honest, to work for the common good, of this earth that we have been blessed, to make sure that we can create the change that is required for all of us to leave this continent a better continent. I mean, for us to leave this world a better world. Harry, 100 years from now, it's not good message to speak. 100 years from now, it will be only our children or our grandchildren. We need to leave a better place and stop being obsessed as if the whole world is ending tomorrow and as if we are going to live for 1,000 years. We need to make a better world.
Now,
let us enjoy the world, the resources, enjoy the world now, and let us make sure that we can work for the common good of the future generation. And I want to ask the business community, we have opportunities in Africa. Africa is a blessed place with nice weather, a place with immense potential. I would say it is a virgin continent. And if you have resources and you want to expand exponentially, come join Business Life Global, come join Tanya Innovations. Let us work together to make the change that we require to change. At least the advantage is that if you use the business vehicle, it's easier to expand your business without going through the hassle. Certainly we need the government, but the business will be able to provide you that vehicle that you may need to use to, first of all, make change in our environment, make change in the business community, and then make change for yourself. But let us be honest. I also want, Harry, I have seen most of the time political leaders, or, when we go to talk shows, the media, every time it looks like we think that people know what the problems are for the world, or where we are failing to manage the world. That is because they are looking in the wrong place. Let us have space to go to the inner man. Yeah, it doesn't matter whether it's a Muslim community, or it is a Buddhist, or it is a Catholic, or it is. We need to make sure that we can work hard to the inner man, because man is almost losing all the values, and it is the reason the world is going in the wrong place. People say what they want people to hear, but they do what protects their interest. Aspire to inspire before you expire. Thank you very much.
And with that word, final words from Maganda, we conclude the broadcasting today. 5 steps to achieve a successful networking event in Africa. Step number one, have a vision. Step number 2, develop this business environment intelligence. Step number 3, design the strategy. Number 4, execute, take action. And number 5, do the evaluation to see what worked and what didn't work in the event and improve it. Today, one of the greatest leaders in Africa, Maganda, right, with the great vision to create that collective effort in Africa to deploy not only Uganda, to develop Uganda, not only Uganda, but the whole African country with amazing ideas, projects from our side, from United Kingdom, and from all over the world. You guys have all our support, and we definitely will be looking at avenues how we can help you, how we can help each other to grow and to have a better world, for a better world to live, all of us, where we have green energy, we don't pollute this planet, we have nice food, organic, with amazing land that you have there in Africa, and also have the resources, right? Because at the end of the day, all these mobile phones, all these computers that everybody's using, they need minerals, and they are all, the Africa is one of the greatest resources of mines and minerals and energy, that actually contribute to the rest of the planet. So thank you so much, Maganda, for your time. Thank you so much, all of you that have been following the interview today from YouTube and from Facebook. Thank you so much for your participation. A lot of friends from Uganda joined today the broadcast. Really appreciate, and see you everyone.